Hello everyone. Let's review shloka number 14 in Soundarya Lahari. kṣitau ṣaṭpañcāśaddvisamadhikapañcāśadudake hutāśe dvāṣaṣṭihi čaturadhikapañcāśadanile divi dviḥṣaṭtriṁśanmanasi catuḥṣaṣṭiriti mayūkhāsteṣāmapyupari tava pādāmbujayugam. Before we dive into the meaning of this particular verse, it's important to first understand some key spiritual concepts. At the heart of this verse is the subtle energy system that makes up our being. So that includes prana, which is the life force, the nadis, which are the energy channels, the chakras, which are the energy centers, and the 5 elements. These aren't just abstract ideas, they actually form the very foundation of our existence and are essential to our spiritual growth. So, to truly understand this verse, we need to know who we are, what limits us, and how we can transcend those limitations to realize our divine nature. So as we all know, according to Advaita Vedanta, there is only one ultimate reality, which we call it as Parabrahman, which manifests as everything in this universe. But due to Maya, we mistakenly identify with our body and mind, forgetting our true nature as Atman, the eternal self, which is also the same as the Parabrahman. So if our true nature is divine, why don't we experience this directly? So the answer lies in how we are structured. We have different layers that make up who we are as human beings, and each layer has its own function and role. These layers are all interconnected, and together they form our complete being. So ancient sages described our being in 3 layers. One is the Sthula Sharira, which is the gross body, and this is the physical body that's made up of the 5 elements. Then there is Sukshma Sarira, which is the subtle body, and this is made up of prana, which is the life force, the mind and the intellect, manas and buddhi. The last layer is the Karana Sharira, which we call it as the causal body, and this is the one that stores past impressions, which is the samskaras, and these impressions influence our thoughts, emotions, and actions. So these layers shape how we think, how we feel, how we act, and they cloud our intellect and often keep us stuck in a conditioned pattern of living. So what gives life to these layers? What determines whether our mind is clear or clouded? Whether our mind is bound or free? More fundamentally, what is the force that makes anything come alive? And the answer is prana. So prana is simply the energy of the consciousness. Shiva, the pure consciousness, is unchanging. But Shakti is dynamic, and she is creating and transforming the universe through time and space. As the primordial force, she is known as Mahashakti. Prana Shakti is a small fraction of that Mahashakti, and that gives life to everything in existence. So prana flows through every aspect of creation, from the physical to the subtle. So now how does prana flow within us? So the prana flows through nadis, and these are the subtle energy channels. Much like how blood flows through the veins and arteries, prana flows through nadis. And there are 72,000 nadis in the subtle body, and among these there are 3 that are very important. We call it Ida, which is the left side of the body, Pingala, which is the right side of the body, and Sushumna Nadi, which is the central channel. So these nadis converge at chakras. So they are the energy centers that distribute the prana throughout the body. And there are 114 chakras in our body. 112 are within our body and 2 are outside our body. And you must have all heard there are 7 major chakras, and then there are 21 minor chakras, and there are 86 micro chakras. When prana flows smoothly through open and balanced chakras, then we experience inner peace and alignment. When prana is balanced, we experience health, clarity, and inner peace. When it's blocked, we experience confusion, suffering, and illness. So, what causes the prana to flow or to be blocked? So, have you ever noticed how your mood and energy levels change with the seasons? These fluctuations are not just random, they show how deeply connected we are to the natural world. So, the five elements, which we call as Pancha Mahadbhutas, these combine in specific ways to give rise to three doshas, which is Vata, Pitta, and Kapha. These doshas are responsible for a person's physiological, mental, and emotional health. The movement of the wind, the planets, the movement of blood, breath, neural pathways, thought, and everything that's related to movement. That is a function of Vata, which is known as Vayu, the wind. Evolution, seasons, aging, metabolism, everything that's related to transformation is a function of Pitta. And everything related to structure is a function of Kapha. The functions of Pitta and Kapha are dependent on Vata, and that's why Vata is the king dosha. So Vata has 5 subtypes, and they are known as pranavayus, which drive the functioning of our mind body physiology. So when we are caught up in the world of objects and cycles of samsara, our energy is scattered. When we align with the rhythm of nature, we find balance. And you can see that the moon is a timekeeper for many of Earth's natural rhythms. So prana is connected to the phases of the moon. Moon influences our energy, our mind, and our overall well-being. So we know that the lunar calendar has 360 days, with each day representing a kala. Kala means a unit of time of the moon. Kala of the moon. We call it Chandra Kala. And that symbolizes the relationship between time and cosmic energy. Now, these 360 kalas are actually distributed across the chakras. That shows the connection between time and energy. And each chakra corresponds to an element and number of days in the specific season. So, if you take Mūlādhāra, which is the root chakra, it's associated with the element earth, and it's associated with the spring season. We call it Vasanta Ritu, and it has 56 days. Maṇipūra, the solar plexus chakra, is associated with the water element, and it is associated with the summer season, and it has 52 days. Swādhiṣṭhāna is associated with fire and has 62 days. And Anāhata is associated with air and the autumn season, and it has 54 days. Viśuddhi is associated with ether, and it's associated with the Hemanta Ritu, which is the pre-winter, which is 72 days. And Ājñā Chakra is associated with the mind, and it is associated with the winter season, which has 64 days. Now that we have all these concepts, let's take a look at the meaning of this particular verse. We'll do a word-by-word meaning. Kṣitau. Kṣiti means earth, and that represents the Mūlādhāra Chakra. As I told you, it is earth represents Mūlādhāra, and it's connected with the Vasanta Ritu, which has 56 days. ṣaṭpañcāśaddvisamadhikapañcāśadudake. ṣaṭpañcāśadd means 6 and 50. So that is 56. dvisamadhikapañcāśadd. dvisamadhikapañcāśadd. Dvi means 2. Samadhika means exceeding. Pañcāśadd means 50. So 2 exceeding 50 means 52. Udaka. Udaka means water, and that's connected with the Maṇipūraka Chakra. Hutāśe. Hutāśe means fire, and fire is associated with the Swādhiṣṭhāna. dvāṣaṣṭi. Dva means 2, Sashti means 60, and 2 and 60 make 62. Chaturādhikapañcāśadd. Chatur means 4, Adhika means more, Pañcāśadd means 50. 4 more than 50, which is 54. Anile. Anila means wind, and that represents the Anāhata Chakra. Divi. Divi means either or Akasha, and that represents the Viśuddhi Chakra or associated with the Viśuddhi Chakra. dviḥṣaṭtriṁśad. Dvi means two. ṣaṭtriṁśad means, shat means 6. Trimshad means 30. So ṣaṭtriṁśad means 36. dviḥṣaṭtriṁśad means 2 times 36, which is 72. Manasi means mind, and that's associated with the Ājñā Chakra. Cha and catuḥṣaṣṭir. Chatu means 4, Shashti is 60, so 64. Iti, thus, these. Mayūkhāha. Mayūkhāha means rays, light rays, or luster of light. Tesham api upari. Tesha means these, api means even, upari means above. So, mayūkhāha tesham api upari. So, he's saying all these things that he's saying, the 56 rays from the each of these chakras, 52, 64, 62, etc. Each of these are compared to rays, and even above all of these rays of light, tava, your, pada means feet, ambuja means lotus, yugam means pair. So, your lotus feet is above all of these rays of light. So, what are the rays of light? 56 rays of the earth element, 52 rays of the water element, 62 rays of the fire element, 54 rays of the air element, 72 rays of the ether and space element, and 64 rays of the mind element. Above all these shine your lotus feet in the Sahasrāra Chakra. So, what this is saying is, from the lotus feet of Tripura Sundari, 360 rays emanate. And these are continuously energizing the chakras. And these rays travel through specific nadis, carrying divine energy throughout the physical, subtle and causal body. So the 360 rays symbolize the 360 days of the lunar year and illustrating how Devi pervades time itself. And the 360 rays are tied to the 6 seasons, and that shows how she embodies nature and the cycles of change. Yet, even though she is the reason for time, and all this is showing how she is connected to time, she is also beyond all of this. And that's why it's saying, Tesham api upari tava pādāmbujayugam. Above all this, your lotus feet shine. So, through the Soundarya Lahari verse 14, what we are reminded of is that we are not separate from the divine. Our true nature is eternal. It is beyond time. It's beyond mind. It's beyond all limitations. And it is from where we all originated. So this particular verse is chanted to eradicate physical, mental and spiritual suffering and attain good health. And you can think of षट्चक्रो परिसंस्थिता, Prananada, Pranarupini. So all of this, Pranada, Pranarupini are all equivalent LS namas. Let's look at a story related to this particular verse. Prana, the life energy, finds a powerful embodiment in Hanuman. As you all know, Hanuman is Vayuputra. So he represents the element of air, and that is linked to prana. So Hanumatha means ha, na, ma, tha. So ha actually represents energy, which is the seed syllable for Shiva, and it's also the syllable for sun. And na denotes by, and ma represents the pure consciousness, and tha denotes the from. It's an ablative case. So by is an instrumental case and tha represents the ablative case. So Hanumata means the energy that is arising from pure consciousness. So that's what Hanumata means. And Hanuman is a Chiranjeevi. He is immortal. And Hanuman represents prana's transformative nature. And his ability to move mountains symbolizes the prana's fundamental role in all the physical actions throughout the universe. So just as untamed prana can be destructive, right? We saw that prana, when everything is balanced, we feel health. When prana is out of balance, then it leads to imbalance, it leads to lots of suffering, etc. And so, conscious direction of prana is very important. And that's why, if you see, Hanuman is always shown as a devotee, right? And he's always connected to a higher consciousness. And when prana is balanced, it enables a connection to higher consciousness. So, the Hanuman Chalisa itself, it describes Hanuman as Mahavira, Vikrama, Bajrangi. And so, you can see that when you harness this pranic energy, then each individual will become stronger and they will overcome kumati. Kumati means ignorance, and they will become sumati ke sangi. Sumati means intelligence and wisdom. So when we harness this prana properly, then we'll be able to overcome ignorance and attain intelligence and wisdom. So let's look at the story itself. So Hanuman was once in deep meditation in Himalayas. So at that time, the Treta Yuga had ended and Dwapara Yuga had started. But Hanuman was in a meditation, so he did not know any of this. And we all know in Dwapara Yuga, Vishnu took avatar as Krishna, right? And that also Hanuman did not know. So sage Narada came there and he met Hanuman and he said, Hanuman, you're such a great devotee of Vishnu. Now Vishnu has taken avatar as Krishna and you haven't gone and met him. You're constantly sitting here and meditating. Why have you not gone? You love him so much. You should have gone and seen him. And then Hanuman said, I am the servant of Vishnu. So for a servant, they should do only what their master tells them to do. So if my master calls me, I will go. So when he calls me, I will go. So then next up, Narada went straight to Krishna. And he said, Krishna, Hanuman wants to meet you, but he is waiting for you to call him. So you should do something. So in the meantime, Krishna's situation was that many who were closely associated with him had become very arrogant. So they have become very proud of themselves and even his closest devotees. And who are they? Garuda, Satyabhama and Sudarshana Chakra. So Garuda was very proud of his strength and speed. And he was like, I'm the one who takes Krishna everywhere. Without me, he will not be able to go anywhere. If he thinks of going somewhere, I take him there. And then Sudarshana Chakra was very proud of its power. It said, without me, what is Krishna? I'm the one who's able to help him win everything. I'm the one who's acting as a great support for him. And last but not least, Satyabhama, Krishna's wife. And she had started becoming very proud of her beauty and status. And she thought, I am Krishna's favorite wife. All other wives are nothing. So now Krishna was very aware of their pride. And so now he had to do something about it. He could not let this continue. So he thought this was the right chance to set right their pride. And he thought he would take the help of Hanuman for that. So he asked Garuda to go to the Gandhamadana mountain and he said, go and bring Hanuman and tell Hanuman that Krishna is calling him. So Garuda, that's it, so proud of his speed and strength, quickly went all the way to the Gandhamadana mountain from Dwaraka. And then he told Hanuman, hey, Krishna asked you to come and see him. After Garuda said this, Hanuman did not even reply. He just ignored. And then Garuda thought, oh, maybe this is an old monkey and maybe he can't hear well. So then he repeated it again. He said, Hanuman, Krishna is calling you. He asked you to come. And then no response. Now Garuda is getting really upset. He thought Hanuman was simply ignoring. So he threateningly told him, how dare you ignore me? I'm telling you that Krishna is calling you. Come. And then Hanuman just looked up and he said, you leave. And so Hanuman did not say anything and Garuda's patience was really wearing thin. And he said, how dare you say that you won't respect Krishna's words? I'm telling you that Krishna asked you to come and you're ignoring me and acting like you're too good. So you have to answer. And if you don't answer, I'm here to do my master's words, and I will do anything in order to make sure that my master's words are obeyed. And Hanuman gently looked up and he said, "You know what? I only answer to Rama. I don't have to answer to Krishna, and so you please leave." So Garuda got really mad and he challenged Hanuman to a fight. And what Hanuman did in response was that he just smiled. He picked up Garuda by his tail, he swung him effortlessly and threw him all the way, and he fell in the ocean of Dwaraka. And Garuda returned to Krishna, and Garuda was so angry. He never expected this. He was all wet, and then he just came him and he said, "You know what, Krishna? You asked me to go bring this Hanuman, but that monkey is too proud of himself, and for asking him to come, he threw me in the water." Krishna then smiled and he said, "Go and tell Garuda that Rama is calling him." Now, Garuda was not so sure. He just didn't want anything to do with this monkey, and he thought it was a very arrogant monkey, old monkey, and that was his way of looking at Hanuman. And so, but Krishna is saying to go. So, obviously, Garuda will not disobey Krishna. So, Garuda reluctantly went again. And he went and said the exact words. He said, "Rama is calling you." And upon hearing this, Hanuman was so overjoyed. So he immediately rose and he was like, "Rama, Rama, Rama." And then Garuda thought, "Oh, maybe I had to just say this." So he's willing to come. And then, even though, Garuda was not very happy with Hanuman, he just said, "Okay, let me just sit on my back. I will carry you to go to see Krishna." And then he was boasting of his strength. So Hanuman just looked at him and said, "No, no, you go, I will come by myself." Then Garuda thought, "You know what, that's all. I've tried to ask him for, I've given help. This is it. I asked him, he didn't take my help. That's not my business. Let him come. I don't know how long it will take for him to come all the way from Himalayas to Dwaraka." With that, Garuda went away. Now, in Dwaraka, Krishna called Sudarshana Chakra and he said, "Go guard the main gate and don't let anybody in." So Sudarshana Chakra now was like, he's invisible, right? Invincible. He can just do anything. And so he said, "Okay, Krishna has told me not to let anybody in, and therefore I'm going to go guard the gate." And who comes in? Hanuman comes in through the main gate. So promptly Sudarshana Chakra said, "Hanuman, stop. You can't go inside. Krishna is not going to see anyone." Hanuman said, "I've come here to see Rama." He said, "There is no Rama here. There is only Krishna. If you want to go see Balarama, you go to another palace." So then Hanuman said, "No, no, I've been called by Rama. When my master calls, I don't want to delay. So I want to meet him." And now, nothing doing, Sudarshana Chakra is standing firm. You cannot go in. Now, Hanuman did not have any time to argue with this Sudarshana Chakra. So what Hanuman did is simply grabbed Sudarshana Chakra and swallowed him. And then Hanuman went inside and he found that there was Krishna and Satyabhama. And when Hanuman came, Satyabhama was all dressed to impress. She sat by Krishna's side. So as soon as Hanuman came in and he saw Krishna, and he remembers Rama's foot, Padam, very well. So immediately he went, he fell at the feet of Krishna. And so he looked up and then he saw that there was Satyabhama. So as soon as he fell on his feet with Rama, obviously he was searching for Sita. So he just looked around and he said, "Where is Sita Mata? Where is Sita Mata?" And then Rukmini was passing by, and immediately Hanuman went and fell at the feet of Rukmini, and he recognized Rukmini as Sita. Satyabhama was really shocked. She was like, "Oh my gosh, I'm the most beautiful, I'm the favorite wife, but this Hanuman, after touching Krishna's feet, even though I was standing there, went directly to Rukmini." So at that time, she realized that beauty and status mean nothing, and it is the true devotion. And Rukmini is always truly devoted to Krishna, and that's what made her look like Sita in the eyes of Hanuman. So she realized that beauty and status was nothing. And then Krishna asked Hanuman, "Did anyone try to stop you?" And Hanuman said, yeah, Sudarshana Chakra tried to stop me, but I'm so sorry. In my haste, I simply swallowed him. And so Sudarshana Chakra, Hanuman then spat out the Sudarshana Chakra. And then Sudarshana Chakra also realized his mistake. He thought he was invincible. There was nobody who can come near. He's the one who can do. And here is the Hanuman who just like that was able to hold him inside his stomach. Right? So then he realized the mistake, and therefore he never ever prided himself on his power or his proximity to Vishnu or how he is helping. As these people were all talking, Garuda entered. And Garuda said, I offered that monkey a ride, but he refused. I don't know when he is going to come. And then he looked around, he saw Hanuman there. So he was shocked. And then he realized the speed of Hanuman. Garuda was actually priding himself on how fast he can travel. But here it is, Hanuman had already come, met with Krishna, all the things had happened. So Garuda's pride was also shattered by Hanuman's immense strength and swiftness. So you can see, and this is called as Garuda Garva Bhangam, and you can see all the power, all their pride was shattered. So when we are consumed by ego and external validations, our prana becomes scattered. At that time, it leads to lots of imbalances and delusions. But when we align with nature, when we remain humble and we remain devoted, all the spiritual paths actually manipulate prana, and we will find balance that way. So when we honor our own prana, we unlock our full potential. That's all for today.